Have you ever watched someone you love stay in a relationship that was clearly hurting them, and no matter what you said, they just stayed? Or maybe you've been that person, and deep down you knew something was wrong, but leaving felt impossible. Today, we're going to talk about exactly why that happens. And it's not weakness, it's not stupidity, and it's definitely not love. The real reason is something far more powerful, and by the end of this video, you're going to understand it completely. In the next 12 minutes, you're going to learn the 5 psychological reasons people stay trapped in toxic relationships. Reasons backed by real science, not just advice. Whether you're in one right now, trying to help someone who is, or just trying to understand your past, this video is going to give you real answers. And one of these reasons might completely change the way you see yourself, or someone you love.
Let me paint a picture. Imagine your friend calls you crying, again, about their partner. They tell you what happened and it's bad. You listen patiently and say, "You need to leave." And they agree. They say you're right. But then a week later, they're back with that same person. You feel frustrated, maybe even a little angry. But here's what most people don't realize. Staying in a toxic relationship isn't a choice made from logic. It's a response driven by deep psychological forces most of us have never been taught to recognize. According to research, nearly 74% of people in unhealthy relationships stay for reasons they themselves can't fully explain. So let's break this down together.
The first reason, and honestly the most misunderstood, is something called a trauma bond. It sounds clinical, but it's actually really simple to understand. When someone hurts you and then shows you love, your brain gets confused. It starts associating that person with both pain and relief. Think of it like an emotional roller coaster. The highs feel incredible because they come right after the lows. It's the same brain chemistry that makes gambling so addictive. A real example? Sarah had been with her partner for 3 years. He'd lose his temper, say something awful, and then come back with flowers and apologies. And for a while, those moments felt like the most romantic thing she'd ever experienced. She didn't realize until later that the kindness only felt so powerful because of the cruelty that came before it. The mistake to avoid here, assuming that because it sometimes feels good, it must be love. That feeling is your nervous system responding to relief, not love. A lot of people assume that low self-worth means someone walks around thinking they're worthless. That's rarely how it shows up. Instead, it looks like this. I don't think I can do better. Maybe I'm the problem. At least they love me, even like this. Low self-worth is often quietly planted over time by the toxic partner themselves, through small comments, constant criticism, and isolation from friends and family. It's called gaslighting. And by the time it's fully taken hold, the person genuinely believes they're lucky to have this relationship. The key tip? Pay attention to how someone in a relationship talks about themselves. If they're constantly defending their partner while putting themselves down, that's a red flag worth taking seriously. Fear is one of the most powerful anchors keeping people in toxic relationships. And we're not just talking about fear of physical danger, though that's very real and very serious. We're also talking about fear of being alone, fear of starting over, fear of what the other person might do or say if they leave. In many cases, people have been told directly or indirectly, "You'll never find anyone else. No one will believe you. I'll make your life hell if you try to leave." Those words become invisible chains. A study from the National Domestic Violence Hotline found that 72% of people who experienced abuse reported staying largely due to fear. Fear of the unknown as much as fear of their partner. The mistake to avoid: judging someone for staying when fear is involved. Walking away from fear is not easy. It's one of the bravest things a person can do.
Hope is beautiful in most parts of life. In a toxic relationship, it becomes a trap. People stay because they're not in love with who their partner is, they're in love with who they believe their partner could be. They're going through a hard time. When things get better, they'll change. I remember who they were in the beginning. That person is still in there. The beginning of a toxic relationship often looks perfect. Psychologists call this love bombing, an intense flood of affection, attention, and promises that feel like a dream. When things turn dark, people hold on to the memory of that dream and keep hoping to get it back. The tip here, if someone says they used to be so different, the key question is, were they actually different or were they performing? We've been together for 8 years. We have kids. We have a mortgage. All my friends are our friends. These are what psychologists call sunk costs, the investments you've already made that feel too heavy to walk away from. Leaving starts to feel like losing everything, not just the relationship. And on top of that, many people's entire identity has been built around being in that relationship. Who are they outside of it? They genuinely don't know anymore. The mistake? Thinking that the time already spent is a reason to keep investing. It's hard to hear, but staying in something painful just because you've already been there a long time doesn't protect that time. It only costs you more.
So here's the truth. The real answer to why people stay in toxic relationships isn't one thing. It's a web, a trauma bond that mimics love, a self-worth that's been quietly dismantled, a fear that makes leaving feel more dangerous than staying, a hope anchored to a fantasy, and an identity so wrapped up in the relationship that walking away feels like erasing yourself. Understanding these reasons doesn't excuse the behavior of toxic partners, but it does mean we can stop blaming the people who stay, including ourselves. Because now you know, staying wasn't stupidity. It was survival. Let's do a quick recap. People stay in toxic relationships because of 1. Trauma bonding, where pain and love become dangerously mixed. 2. Low self-worth, often caused by the toxic partner themselves. 3. Fear, of safety, of being alone, of starting over. 4. Hope in a fantasy version of their partner that may never exist. And 5. Sunk cost and identity, where leaving feels like losing everything they are. If any of these resonated with you, even a little, that's worth sitting with. And if this is about someone you love, the best thing you can do is stay patient, stay present, and never make them feel judged for where they are right now. If this video helped you see something differently, share it with someone who might need it. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is pass the right words to the right person at the right time. And if you want to go deeper, I made a video on how to actually start healing after a toxic relationship. It's linked right here. Subscribe if you're new, because we talk about real psychology in a way that actually makes sense. I'll see you in the next one.